Hey guys, Tony here, and today we're going to look at how you can get Dolby Vision content to display on your projector or TV, even though it's not technically supported, using the HD Fury VR Room. This has been one of my most requested videos on my Discord server, and I know before I solved the problem that I was obsessed with getting Dolby Vision to work in my setup. I'm going to run through what Dolby Vision actually is, why you would want it, as well as various configuration options available using the HD Fury VR Room device, which is what we will be using to get Dolby Vision, so stay tuned. This isn't going to be an overly technical video, as I want to focus more on the end result and how you can get there. Dolby Vision is essentially a color grade that has been applied to footage to give a wider range of colors, brightness and contrast. The obsession started for me when I kept seeing the Dolby Vision symbol on Netflix content as well as the latest 4K movie discs, and I was wondering why I couldn't get it. On my Zidu player, I was able to force Dolby Vision using LLDV, where the Zidu would process all the tone mapping and push that through to my projector. And while I could only see this on movies, I could tell right away that the picture was brighter and more saturated, especially in the primary colors. This is where my journey began, as I could see my favorite Netflix shows like The Mandalorian and The Witcher all had Dolby Vision color grading, and I really wanted to experience it as it was intended. What I really wanted was not to force anything on my player. What I wanted was to get the tone mapping to apply from any source that could deliver it, like an Apple TV, Shield or 4K disc player, and have it do so automatically. After a ton of research, I came across the HD Fury VR Room. HD Fury have been around for a while as a company solving problems for challenging video and audio setups. It's a middleware device that can take your input source audio and video and deliver it to your display or AV processor in a variety of ways. Again, this isn't going to be a technical video, so I'm not going to explain how EDID works, but essentially how the HD Fury works is it can emulate different devices, intercept the incoming signal, and manipulate it to give a desired outcome. The VR Room has a number of inputs and outputs and is HDMI 2.1 compatible and supports 8K, and can split the audio and the video signals so that you can send the video signal to one device and the audio to another. I'll explain why you may want to do this a little bit later in the video. The VR Room can support SDR, HDR, HDR10+, and Dolby Vision input sources, and tell the source device that it does, even if the display doesn't. There is a display on the front of the VR Room, however, as mine is inside the AV rack, I use the web interface to control it and configure it, which is very convenient. There are so many options you can tweak, however for Dolby Vision there are literally only two boxes that you need to tick, one to enable it and the other one to force HDR on your projector. Anyone with a projector will know that there are no projectors outside of the 4-movie ultra short throw that can support it, and this is due to projectors not technically being able to meet the standards of Dolby Vision. I think that this is wrong, and you will see it later in the video. One of the biggest benefits I see having the HD Fury VR Room in your setup is that it's HDMI 2.1 and 8K supported. So if your AV receiver has HDMI 2.0, rather than upgrade, you can simply use this to achieve the 2.1 and 8K support and use the AV receiver purely for audio processing and save some dollars. So there are two main ways that you want to use the HD Fury in your setup, and both have positives and negatives. In my setup, I have a Trinnov Altitude 16, which is arguably the best AV processor on the market today, and I have a 9.4.6 Dolby Atmos speaker setup with my Crix MX10 wall of sound, and overhead effects speakers, and 4 subwoofers. My projector is the current model JVC NP5 native 4K with its deep blacks and is a perfect candidate for Dolby Vision. The objective is to retain the Dolby Atmos audio while also getting Dolby Vision to show up automatically from any source device to the display without having to do any manual operations every time I want to watch something. To achieve this, there are two ways you can go. You can plug all of your source devices like the Apple TV, Zidu player, Blu-ray player and the Shield Pro directly into the Trinnov, and then have a single HDMI coming from the Trinnov to the HD Fury, and then have that send a Dolby Vision signal to the projector. The main drawback here is that everything is running through the Trinnov, and that means any 8K content and any HDMI 2.1 content is not supported. However, if you don't need that, then it's not an issue. This then allows you to retain things like the OSD, volume, and source controls. The way I have mine connected is what I think is the ideal way, and that is to have all of your sources plugged into the VR room, and then have a HDMI connection from the VR room to the Trinnov for the audio only. This means that you can get 8K and HDMI 2.1 support in the projector, as well as split the audio to go to the Trinnov and still have Dolby Atmos object-based sound. What you do lose, however, is the on-screen display from the processor for the volume control, but as this was only just recently added to the Trinnov, I don't feel like I've lost anything anyway. The trade-off is a much quicker handshake between the projector and the source player. Not that I'm saying anything about HDCP, but you can look into that for yourself. The VR room is also able to auto detect sources, which is pretty cool. However, I have CEC and auto switching turned off, as I like to use my Harmony remote control to switch between the sources and activities. And because I'm paranoid about the projector staying on, I deliberately turn it off and on with its own remote. Set up this way, when the Apple TV is connected, it can then use LLDV or low latency Dolby Vision to apply the tone mapping from the source device and send it to the HD Fury to the projector. And the same goes the other way for any other player that is capable for Dolby Vision tone mapping. This has worked flawlessly since I set it up, and I couldn't be happier with the results. Let's take a look at some side-by-side demonstrations of the Dolby Vision and HDR10 so that you can see the difference for yourself. So as I said, I intentionally did not want to make this a technical video or even an instructional video on how to make the HD Fury VR room work in your setup. If you decide that you'd like to get one, I will have links down in the description as well to the HD Fury Discord server, which were a great source of help when I had questions, and they were a fantastic resource to help me get started. This isn't a sponsored video. I bought a second one for my upstairs setup, so it's my second one with my own money. HD Fury don't know I'm making this video, and I have no hesitation in recommending any of the HD Fury products to improve your setup. Even if you don't need 8K 2.1, there is the Vertex 2, and they make other products to solve issues in your setup. So take a look at the link down in the description. The flagship model VR room comes in $549 plus shipping, and I was able to get it shipped to Australia from their website with the local Aussie power plug, and it did come in only 2 days, so it's very fast international shipping. The one I have here is going into my setup upstairs, and I'm building out a 7.2.4 multi-purpose setup with a 4K laser projector, so make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that video. It is coming very soon. Why don't you let me know down in the comments section what you think, tell me about your setups, and whether or not you think the price of the VR room is worth it for getting Dolby Vision in your home theater setups. I'm very happy with my purchase of the HD Fury VR room, and I feel that it has unlocked the potential of my home theater, allowing me to watch Dolby Vision content without having to make changes to my devices. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up, and again, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. A very big thank you for watching, but that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.